there is this activist class who wishes to have land acknowledgements assigned on university campuses and even public parks. I'll mind you, I read one last year that said, this park, well, this park didn't exist during the time that this native tribe was here in these lands. We actually still own it. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. What do you think compels people who had nothing to do with any wars involving the French, English, or native tribes in the region? What do you think compels them to want to concede to this idea that there would be no civilization without any of these native tribes?
Well, they hate white people, to put it simply, and they hate the civilization that white people have embodied, which was once known as Christendom and now is known as the West. They hate that, so they express a hatred toward white people, and ironically, in so doing, they are expressing a hatred for all sorts of other people as well. I mean, consider what they say about BIPOC-oriented literature. What does that mean? Does that mean that Turgenev and Dostoevsky and Tolstoy and Shakespeare and Dante and Milton and Virgil, that's fine for the white people, but black people don't deserve to read any of those writers. The black people have to settle for reading the inchoate scribblings of Ibram Kendi and Robin DiAngelo? Is that what we're saying? That is to say that only white people ought to receive an education and no other sort of people ought to receive an education, which is rather hateful as far as I'm concerned, toward specifically the so-called BIPOC people. And you see other incoherent expressions of this hatred, this appetitive reflex that they seem to have when they say that, we have to acknowledge that the land was owned by the Lakota Sioux, say. Mount Rushmore is really secretly owned by the Lakota Sioux, but of course the Lakota Sioux didn't spring up out of the Black Hills as if they were a tree or a plant. They came in there and they took that land from the Cheyenne. So do we give the land back to the Lakota Sioux or do we give it to the Cheyenne? Well, what about the other people that were there even before the Cheyenne, the Kiowa or the Arapaho or the other Indians that came before them? Do we give land in the Midwest and the southern states to the Apache, or I suppose we'd give them to the Comanche, but the Comanche took them from the Apache. Do we give them to the group that the Apache took them from? Where does it end? Well, I guess it ends all the way back at the Garden of Eden, but they don't believe in that either.
Turn it up, Jordan.